Okay, yeah, so this is a tutorial on creating a Postgres SQL server on Microsoft Azure, as well as connecting to it via, I'm going to be using pgAdmin, um, although you uh, can do all of these queries as well through just the web browser. If you wanted to import via a CSV file, I think that might be problematic. So if you just create a SQL database, by default, this is T-SQL. Now, T-SQL, MySQL, Postgres, um, uh, Vertica, there's lots of different flavors of SQL. Um, uh, One nice thing about PostgreSQL is that it plays very nicely with Python, and it has a couple of extra language features to it. For example, it supports the except keyword. One drawback to using PostgreSQL on the Azure account is that you don't really have an option to choose a very simple machine. So you can use T-SQL and make your $100 student credit go further. But I wanted to show how to do PostgreSQL for anybody who's interested. Okay, so assuming you have your Azure account, go to your portal, create a new resource, and here on the left we see databases. And you'll see here it just says SQL database. I think that should be T-SQL. Here's for MySQL, and here's for PostgreSQL. And by the way, here is a quick starts plus tutorial that will also guide you through this process. If you have the Azure, so what I'll be showing you in this lecture is how to go through the web client. Know that if you've installed the Azure client, you can also just run a single command from your from the command line. So this is the name of the program. Here you name whatever server you want to create. This is the port that you want to connect on. And then here is where you define your username. Be sure to use the same server name here, my ad server, as you use here. And then give a database name. Okay, otherwise, you can just go through this graphical way. So that's what I'll do now. Azure databases for PostgreSQL. And we're going to create one on a single server. Okay, give it a resource group. If you haven't created one already, you can. Give it some unique name, so something that is unique. Oh, and I always forget this. Underscores are not supported. Okay, the data source. Here I'll just be creating an empty database, and then I'll be creating a table and importing a CSV. So I'll just keep that as none. The location doesn't matter much. I'll keep the version at 10. Now here, configuring the server, basically I'm just going to be bumping all of these down to cut down on the monthly cost. You'll notice that, yeah, SQL servers will eat up through your, PostgreSQL servers will eat up through your $100 faster. But yeah, I mean, even putting all of the settings down, it still, charges. Okay. So if I were to click OK, that would create a database. But because I already have one, and I don't want to eat up through my resources too much, I'll just go to the one that I created. As soon as you hit OK, it'll be the same thing where first it will be deploying the database. That takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And after that, you'll have the database available. Keep in mind that you need to know the server name, and when you provide me with the name of the server, this is the name that you're going to be using, the entire thing. Okay? Fine. Oh, and then you'll also notice that the administrator name includes at whatever the name of your server is. Okay, and then yeah, you can create an administrator account with a username and password. Of course, remember your username and password. Okay, now it's created, and you need to be sure to go into connection security and add a whitelist rule for myself. This is my IP, 100.1.99.13. And also for yourself or any partners, for them to be able to access this. Just because I made the minimum TLS version 1.0, it's probably safer to make this higher, but you know, just for getting something working for class, this is fine. Okay, and that's it. So I created the server and I added myself to this whitelist. Now, you can, well, I'm using, here, we go to this quick start. Oh, where? Accessing your database. Here you go. So you can use PSQL. That is going to be easier to install on Mac or on Linux. Unfortunately, this is not available for Windows. And I'm not going to, I prefer not to show this cloud tool. So I'm going to show this, pgAdmin. This is available on Mac and Windows. So you can go to that website, go to download, and here is a version for Mac. And I downloaded the one for Windows because I'm using Windows. This is pgAdmin 4. You could also, or you might potentially have to get pgAdmin 3. I was having trouble importing a CSV with pgAdmin 4. So you can download pgAdmin 3, which looks like this. Actually, let me, can I delete this? I'd like to go through it again. No, I don't want to drop the database. Or can I just forget? Okay, whatever. I'll just go through the connection thing again. Okay, if you once you download and install pgAdmin, you might have to restart your computer. I already did that, so my computer is restarted. And now you can try to connect to the database. Here you can open pgAdmin. It will open up inside of a browser. And so this is actually a web server, pgAdmin 4. And so this that's the reason why this is opening up in my web browser, even though it's actually a web server that's running on my own computer here on this port. And okay, whatever. So then you can add a new server, give it whatever name you want. So I don't know, PDM class. And for the connection, you need to provide the host name. That's the same name that you get from here. Nope, from the overview here. So you can just copy that and then add that for the host name. The port, this is a default 5432. You can just keep it the same. For username, remember that you need to add the name of the server, and then whatever password you used when you created that. And that's it. You shouldn't have to do anything with SSL or SSH. Yeah. So save it, and so here's BDM class, databases, Postgres, and schemas. So this is public schemas and tables. Okay, so here I've already created a table person, but I'll create a new table. It's a little annoying that you have to dig this deep to get to just where your relations are, but whatever. Oh, another thing is because we're going through Rutgers to get this credit, we are not allowed to be super administrator users. You'll see here this administrator super user. That is somebody from Rutgers. I am pgAdmin. I am not a super administrator, and so there's certain commands that I'm not allowed to run. That creates a little bit of a problem for trying to upload a CSV, but okay. So let's say I want to create a new table. Here I created a person table. I'll create an eats table, I guess. So you can right-click on tables and go to the query tool. And this will bring up the query editor, where you can write whatever queries. Creating a table is also a query. Create table eats with, I don't know, name, which is going, give that a string. Here. I don't know if this formatting really matters necessarily, but name eats food, and that's also going to be a char. No, I'll use SSM, okay, for the unique thing. Social security number. Fine, and then I want as my primary key just SSM. Now, if you're using T-SQL, this will be formatted a little differently. I think the way that you define a primary key in T-SQL is like this. But in PostgresSQL, that's the way you define a primary key. I'm not going through all of the different flavors of SQL. I trust you can Google how the grammar is a little different. So now I've typed in this query to create the table, and I'll hit this play button to execute the query. Oh, I see. I'm forgetting a comma. Commas. Missing commas. Great. Now this table is created. And if I refresh my tables here, I can see here's the table eats. These are the columns that exist. There's one key constraint. That's that eats is the primary key. There's no any of these things. Okay. Now we have this eats table. Let me create some synthetic data. So we have SSN and food. Get rid of this. He likes to eat, I don't know, pizza, and they like to eat whatever. Okay. I will save this as eats. Make sure that it's a CSV file. Fine. Okay, now the CSV file exists. Now the problem with Postgres, or with this pgAdmin 4, and I'm not sure why this is. It should be a relatively straightforward thing. Oh, first of all, if you try to use the copy command, let me show very quickly the problem with that. Generally, the syntax for a CSV file, up here. Okay. Make sure I get that file name right. Okay, here's the eats table. Copy the location of it. Okay. So after your table is created, of course, this would be generally how you can copy, and you can try it. Copy eats. You can add this or not. I will SSN food. Those are the names of the columns. From, and then wherever that file is located. The delimiter is going to be needed. In this case, this is a comma. It's a CSV, comma separated file. And in this case, there is a header. All right. But if I try to run this, you see that it says you must be a super user. And I'm not, nor can I make myself. There is a /copy command for PostgresSQL, where it's the exact same, except it should be copy, and it's saying that this is some syntax error. I haven't been able to figure out why that is. Okay, but this pgAdmin has a way for you can right-click on the table, go to Import Export, and here make sure that you're importing, because we're going to be importing data to populate the database. Select the CSV file that you want. If your data has some special encoding, be sure to choose that, like if you're using multiple languages or something. In this case, yes, I do have a header. The delimiter is a comma, and I'm keeping everything else the same. Now, it will say import export job created, but then it doesn't execute the job. I'm not sure why. And it's not just me, it seems like other people are having this problem, and I don't know, there's something wrong with this pgAdmin 4. So here's pgAdmin 3, and I'll try to go through this. My DB, the host name is this. Maintenance DB, so same username as before. Again, don't have to worry about SSL, SSH, or anything like that. And okay. So it's saying that the version of the server that I'm connected to isn't appropriate for pgAdmin 3. So I get a bunch of errors, but it still lets me add the server. Okay, and here you go. Here's the BDM example server. Same thing, you dig down to the schemas. Here's tables. Let me refresh this. And now here's the table eats that I created. Now in this one, if I go to import, browse to the eats file that I just had. This is a CSV file. Again, this isn't any special encoding. These are the columns. This does have a header, and the delimiter I should choose as the comma because it's a CSV. Quote options, I'm not changing. Null options, I'm not changing. And import, and there. That little green bar shows that it imported. Now we can verify this. I think that's the only reason to use pgAdmin 3 is if you're running into problems uploading CSV. After that, just stick to Postgres or this version 4. Okay. So here I can select things from eats and verify that indeed these have been imported. Okay, so that is creating a PostgreSQL database on Microsoft Azure, creating a table and importing data via CSV. You can also import data more manually if it's synthetic. What I mean by that is that you can run, let's see, yeah, this type of thing. So this is when I was inserting a student. Oh, sorry, this one. Yeah. So insert into the name of the relation. You can specify these the order of this if you want. Otherwise, I like doing it. Whatever. And then you can specify the values. So then this creates a single row. Okay. So you can insert data manually like this. You can pull it in from a CSV file. There's also, so I'm just showing this one pgAdmin for Postgres. Of course, there's Microsoft VS Code that you can use. You can use the admin console, or you can go through just the web browser thing. Although I'm not sure if you can import a CSV file through there. I haven't tried it, and that's it. So okay. If you have any sort of issues with any of this, please email me and or message me on Canvas, either way, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.